Hello and welcome to the Astrology Anew podcast. I'm Kerry Hourigan. Today we're talking about the very powerful new moon in Aries, the Equinox, signifying another new cycle and the beginning of the astrological year. Saturn in Pisces, Mars at 28 degrees of Gemini, and the Aries Stelium. But firstly, I'd like to begin by acknowledging the original land carers, the Awabakal people, where this podcast is recorded. I give my deepest respect to elders past, present and emerging, and acknowledge that sovereignty has never been ceded. Just a reminder before we start, you can get a free mini astrology report that includes a very detailed birth chart from Astrology Anew. I created a video to show you how to create a birth chart with transits at astro.com, and both of these are really handy in any astrology that you're following. You can find the podcast on iTunes as well as Spotify, YouTube, Google Play, Amazon Prime and Stitcher. Well, the new moon in Aries will be happening at 0 degrees and 49 minutes on the 21st or 22nd of March, depending on your location. To see where this specifically relates to you, look to the house or the life area this will be transiting in your own chart, along with the other transits that I'll be mentioning. This new moon event is one of the most important events of the year as it coincides with the equinox. And the equinox is like a portal, and it also signifies the beginning of a new cycle. This is all within the Aries Stelium. The new phase is when we set an intention to begin a new cycle, so remember to set yours and see what house this is transiting in your own chart, as this will signify the life area that will be affected, and it's in this area you can set an intention. But we can also set an intention for our human family and the planet itself, and think about what a world you would like to live in. The Aries archetype is cardinal fire. It's an expressive archetype ruling the first house and is ruled by Mars. It is the archetype of separation from the original source, from where we all come from, the separation in our birth from our mother, and the separation from the known and familiar. Aries is an incredibly powerful energy that pushes us forward into new beginnings as we begin a new cycle. We feel the instinctive impulses and urges to follow our desires and how to fulfill them. We emerge into this new territory with no knowledge of it, therefore we need absolute freedom and courage to explore different directions and possibilities. Aries is energetic, purposeful, fiery, and the most powerful initiating energy. Aries loves to be first to break new ground, loves to be in the lead, to blaze the new trail, and must have total freedom. Aries has an emerging quality that is instinctual, meaning there is no forethought. Aries is our will, our courage, freedom, inspiration, dedication, passion, change, and initiating energy. Brilliant at launching new projects and going into new directions that must be explored to fulfill desires. Aries is the warrior, the soldier, defending those who are unable to, running into the burning house to save a life, or taking on a battle to face a Goliath. Because Aries is so active and non-directional in the early stages, there can be some confusion. So much time can be invested in going in different directions that it can end up being fruitless. However, this is necessary to explore the different options available. Aries polarity is Libra, and it is from Libra we receive feedback in order to counterbalance the continual impulsive multi-directions of Aries. Libra offers feedback for consideration to keep us on track to achieve our desires and offer balance. This feedback comes from others or the environment. Whether it is taken on board or not is up to the person. There's also the shadow side of Aries that we have to mention, and we often see the shadow side of Aries expressed as acting impulsively, interrupting and disrupting, cutting someone off in traffic, combative, explosive, angry, speaking or acting with no forethought and not considering the consequences, wanting to move in a different direction, and therefore, for those who cannot keep up, are left behind because of the impatience of Aries. Even though impulsive actions can be seen as courageous, in the extreme, they can be reckless and irresponsible. Aries placement in your birth chart signifies where conscious action is required if we are to fulfill our desires. We align with the instinctive impulses to be become on a moment-to-moment basis, edging us closer to our goal. We are always in a state of becoming. If you give that a little bit of thought, you can see how we are constantly doing that. Aries also relates to the great potential for accidents, clashes and confrontations with others, and unfortunate, irresponsible action. The new moon is in an Aries Stelium, meaning there is more than 3 planets in the one sign. There is enormous potency in this event with the moon, sun, along with Mercury, Chiron, Jupiter, as well as the Equinox, that are all happening in Aries. This concentration is potently powerful to commence a new cycle. In the Aries stellium, we have cycles completing and cycles beginning because these planets are all close together and yet they are all unified. As in all archetypes, they can be expressed in the most positive and ideal way, or they can come via the shadow. So as for the positive side, the 0 degrees of this new moon in Aries is one of emergence and desire from the vastness of potentiality, which is Pisces, as Aries follows Pisces. The things that we desire both collectively and individually. Once our desire is identified, we explore the different options but must have total freedom and consider the feedback which I mentioned earlier, which comes from Libra, to help dissipate any confusion, keeps us on track, and we find balance as we focus on our goal. Or you can be like a loose cannon on deck and going in all directions but getting nowhere. The expansiveness, which is Jupiter, begins to present itself as we begin to realize the potential of how far we can go, not just individually, but as a human family. We will come up against obstacles, but we have to see them as gifts to overcome, making us more consciously aware of our weaknesses and turn these weaknesses into strengths to get us over the ditch and continue our journey. And this is signified in Chiron. And Chiron is known as the wounded healer. So it is through its wounds that we find strength. Now there is a shadow side, of course, and the raw, unbridled energy of Aries, when unchecked, can be impulsive, reactive and violent. The power of words in our communications with ourselves and others can be snappy, harsh and direct, inflicting great harm and pain. We can be left feeling the pain and suffering caused with a tendency to go to battle. This can be exacerbated by the fiery energy, resulting in overacting to the extreme as the emotions take hold and the fight for control is maintained. We always have a choice. We must consciously choose the best outcome for all. And we do this by considering all consequences of our actions. Mars, the ruler of Aries, is in Gemini and it's squaring the new moon. And squares are an aspect which signify difficulty and tension. Mars is currently at 28 degrees in Gemini, and in this square to the Aries new moon adds even more potency. Gemini offers diversity, while Mars's initiating behaviour at the 28th degree suggests we set our sights on a new consciousness and awareness, and to leave behind any failures or successes, wipe the slate clean to begin a new cycle. The diversity and variety Gemini offers gives us great scope to move in different directions with something already established or to begin something totally new. Again, this placement can have a shadow side to it of trying to continue with something that has already had its time, only to remember we are always supported through the trial and error processes, which is a quote from James Burgess. And I'll leave a link to James's website. He's very good at talking through the Sabian symbols and explaining them and the meanings behind them. Just move on to Saturn, and Saturn has moved into Pisces on March the 7th, 2023 and will remain there till May 2025. This is one of the most important events of the year as it too is in a new cycle. At the time of this new moon, Saturn will be at 1 degree of Pisces, suggesting the beginning of a healthy exchange. And that's healthy exchanges of resources and cooperative interactions such as ideas, goods, services and resources. What we have in abundance can be shared with fair trade, enriching both to set good examples to others, and this instills security and high moral values in our society and communities. When we manage our interactions properly with others commercially, we increase trust and reduce fear and the risk of conflict. We will succeed by having the participation of everyone, and we must remember to tune in to the needs of others. We can see when one wants to rule the roost how it crumbles and falls away. It has all been done all throughout history, and those who are currently in positions of power who want to continue to rule and dominate will fail. It has all been tried and done before and has never succeeded yet, as there is nothing new under the sun. We just keep our focus on being grateful and appreciative of what we have, and that's all we can do as individuals. And when we do that, we inspire others to do it as well. So nurturing ourselves with this new moon in Aries, and this is so exciting. This is an incredibly powerful new cycle. So medically, Aries rules the skull area, red blood cells, the adrenal glands, adrenaline, male hormones, inflammation, vitality, immune response, and our sex drive. Some suggestions for the new moon in Aries is start a daily meditation practice to initiate the pineal gland and calm the nervous system. And this enables us to think clearly, be more calm. We can make better decisions when we're not dealing with too many things at once. We take full responsibility for our actions and the consequences. Let go of what you know you must and move forward. Keep releasing. Don't ponder or focus on past failures. It is now time to wipe the slate clean and to start the new. Be in nature as much as possible, because this also calms us down. And start something totally new. You never know where it's going to take you. In saying that, listen to your heart's intelligence. This is where you find your truth and meaning. We connect through our hearts to every living thing, to each other, to the cosmos, and to the original source from where we come from. Be in the higher emotions of hope, gratitude, joy, relief, and appreciation, and know all is well. All of this is necessary for us to pass through the eye of the needle and to get beyond. Thank you for listening. Take care, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.